Welcome back, family, for another Real Talk. I pray y'all are doing well. As we off top, give the Most High all the honor, the glory, and all praise and worship. Thank you, Yahuwah. Thank you, Yahushua, who hung, bled, and died. Listen, I'm really enjoying these questions and old questions, and catching up on a lot of old emails. And hats off to everybody that's studying, especially if you watched the video I did about the Ethiopian Bible. Lately, we've been kind of talking about those of you, only for those who gets outside of the King James Bible. We talk about the Apocrypha. We talked about the Ethiopian Bible. And you saw the video I just posted about the fallen angels once again. And in this latest video, if you notice, I put up the Geneva Bible in front of the video. And I wanted you to see Ephesians 6 and 12 in the Geneva Bible versus the King James Bible. Just like I told y'all a while back that in the old King James Bible, you see, thou shalt not kill, which is a mistranslation, versus then they came back in the new King James Version and they put in there, thou shalt not murder. And mainly I'm doing this video for you, Brother Thomas. Let me give a shout out to you, Brother Thomas. You know who you are. Always on guard, studying and firing up them questions in the email. Love you, man. Keep doing what you're doing. When you think about this, that's why I told you, we have to understand, Brother T, and I know you already know this, but there may be somebody listening that don't. It is so many translations out. A lot. And the Geneva Bible, you're talking about the 1560. Once again, the Geneva Bible came out before the King James Bible, but the Ethiopian Bible is older than both of those. And they've been having an ongoing debate about, did King James really ban the Geneva Bible? What was so bad about the words in the Geneva Bible that King James didn't like it? Or if you study what was going on, the notes that was being taken, that they chose to put in different words, like, but did he really ban the Bible is the question. I see a lot of arguing about that for years. And I'm asking you that question. Did he really ban that Bible? Or why is it? Because the Geneva Bible was the most popular English Bible there was before King James. And to some people, the Geneva Bible is still the most popular English translation. Now, you keep in mind, in these translations, something get left out. It's always something get left out. And when you look at this, because I want to make sure I answer your email. Yeah, okay. Now, I put up Ephesians 6 and 12 for a reason. Now, to some of y'all, this ain't going to make a big difference to you, because if you look at Ephesians 6 and 12 in the King James 16:11 version, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, rulers of darkness, spiritual wickedness in high places. But in the Geneva Bible, you'll see worldly governors. But how long have we been saying the government is crooked anyway? How many years and years have we been saying Christ went against the government? When Christ would say things like, my kingdom is not of this world. Or how he went against the Pharisees and Sadducees. He went against the system. He was always teaching and showing Yahweh, not the world way. That's why when you catch it, when he said, I'm not praying for the world, that go over a lot of people's head. I'm not praying for the world. And so many people miss that. But the problem that comes into play, you got a lot of people that argue because, well, I don't believe in the Geneva Bible. Well, but I read the Geneva Bible because the Geneva Bible was here before the King James Bible. Well, but I only read King James and I only read this, I only read that. So when you start talking about let's read together, study together, even in a lot of churches, like I told y'all, I ain't never seen no Ethiopian Bible in nobody's church ever in my whole life growing up. Even now, never seen one in there. And when you would see those type of Bibles, if somebody had one, it was at their house. And 9 times out of 10, a lot of them at the house wasn't even reading it. It just set up for decoration. I remember this lady had an old Bible she never read. She said, it's just been sitting on my table. And I think it was a Geneva Bible a long time ago. I don't know where she got it from, but she was an older lady. some of the older generation had some old Bibles. They had them, and the question is, what happened to them? You know, and you have to really, really pray in the Spirit, and you have to really, really study in the Spirit. You know, but when you look at the Geneva Bible with the Ephesians 6 and 12, he chose to put worldly governors in there, world governors in there. And this is why some people are waking up now, because now they see that they vote never mattered. Now they starting to go back and really talk about when Franklin D. Roosevelt said that presidents are not selected. They are. Y'all see how I said that backwards? They are not elected. They are selected. Especially when you trace down the bloodline, stuff that people have been knowing for years that they don't want you to know. And it's always the counties are, we waiting on the electoral votes, this and that. They tell the world anything. But in reality, when you start talking about Democrat or Republican, come on, what's really the difference? And I know that's an ongoing argument with people, but when you talk about working for the same system, what's really the difference? They make it look like a whole lot of confusion, but in reality, they all in it together. Even though they would never say that and admit that in front of the world, you know. But when you start looking at all these distractions that they're doing, and that's why the Bible called it the beast system. The system that's designed. Satan is the god of this world. Satan is the god of this world. So I want to say that before I close out. Make sure I covered those questions. I'm at work. But yeah, did King James really ban the Geneva Bible, or did he just chose, you know, to change up the words, you know, that he chose to put in his translation of the King James Bible? Because you got about 6 or 7 billion copies. You got, 100 million Bibles sold all the time, man, or you got them sold or given away. I always said the Bible is the most popular book, and still is. And there's so many people that care about it. Why do they argue about it so much? And then you got about 3,000 some languages, man. You know, so over 450 known versions of the Bible. So, and again, when people, when you look at these translations, I told y'all years ago, if you compare the Bibles, you'll see it's a lot of scriptures missing. You'll see that, ooh, this don't mean this don't mean that. That's why you got to let him put the word in your heart. I'm not telling you don't study the Bible. Y'all know I would never tell you that. I'm telling you study in the Spirit. Let the Most High teach you, guide you, lead you, show you what to study. And you learn from the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is the best teacher. That's why I always say teach Holy Spirit. And when you learn that the word is in your heart, the Most High already knew it was going to be all this confusion. Like I said in another video, that's why the Most High teaches in the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit reveals. It don't matter how many Bibles is out now. When you got the Holy Spirit as a teacher, he will teach you all things. You got more and more argument going on than real teaching. Believe that. You got people that love to just argue, man. They don't mind having a crowd, man, and just argue. But the question is, are you letting the Holy Spirit reveal to you what we are living in, what has happened, and what's to come? And are you looking at salvation? And I'll leave you on that. Shalom.